right, thank you everybody for coming out tonight to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Dreamscape. As stated, my name is Jennifer. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my teenage years and the support that I received from Phoenix Youth Programs. When I was 15 years old, I ran away from home. I was in a relationship with a boy that my mother didn't want me to be with. And looking back, I realized that she was right, but don't tell her that I said that, because I will deny it. I was also starting to experiment with some drugs. Each drug led to one that was a little bit heavier than the one before it. In my small town, homeless shelters weren't a thing. I ended up couch surfing with friends for a couple of months until they grew tired of having somebody in their space. It was then that I began looking into shelters in Halifax, and I learned about Phoenix Youth Shelter. I gave them a call. The staff there explained the rules and stated that I could come register myself if there was a bed available, and I stayed at the Phoenix shelter off and on for a while. When I wasn't there, I was sleeping at other shelters or on the streets. As well as staying off and on at the youth shelter, I visited the Phoenix Center for Youth, or as we call the drop-in center. There I was able to have a healthy snack, do some laundry. I was able to seek assistance and get bus tickets to get me back and forth around the city. After a while, I grew tired of not having a space to call my own. The staff at the center helped me write my application for the Phoenix House. They informed me that I'd be a great candidate, but that there was a wait, so I needed to be patient. After some time had passed, I was accepted into Phoenix House, and I arrived with a half-full garbage bag that was everything I owned. And I know that my fiance is sitting over there chuckling to himself because he recently had to move everything from my last apartment into our current home, and it was way more than half of a garbage bag. I settled quickly at Phoenix House. The staff made me feel at home. We did programming in the house, and we had outings in the community. We did the basic stuff like going grocery shopping, and we did these extravagant things like going on these huge nature hikes and going snowboarding. These were things that I never got to do as a child with my family because we just didn't have the money to do that kind of thing. At the house, I learned cooking and cleaning skills. I learned about living with people, and I learned about respect. I learned about conflict management, and I learned about walking away. I learned that those who were hardest on me only wanted the best for me, and I learned that I deserved way more than what I was giving myself. After a while, I realized this opportunity that I was given. I was given a home that was stable and supportive. I was given amazing staff, and they cared about me. I had my whole life ahead of me. Here I was living day by day, focusing on what I could do to get money so that I could get drugs. I wanted to make a change, and all of a sudden I had hope. I spoke with a counselor at the Phoenix Prevention Program, which is now called the Phoenix Youth and Family Therapy Program. We talked about my current coping strategies, which were drugs, alcohol, and worse. We also talked about how I needed to move forward, what steps I needed to take, and what decisions I needed to make to get my life together. I talked with my counselor about a drug treatment center for youth, and I enrolled, and I did it. I lost all of my friends. I no longer had any sort of a social life. I was solely focused on quitting drugs and then doing all the other things that I needed to do to meet the goals that I had laid out with my counselor. To say that it was difficult would be an understatement. but I knew that I could do it. The house had a program once a month called the Resident of the Month, where at their staff meetings, the staff team would pick a resident who had accomplished something, who had shown growth or resilience, to recognize them for their achievements. And when I received this honor, I would choose to have a one-on-one outing with my primary care worker. We would go for a drive, get an ice cream, listen to some music, and chat. These trips meant the world to me. Because it was there, I felt like I was a part of something. I had someone encouraging and supporting me. I was able to talk about the things that were bothering me and all the amazing things that were going on in my life. I got to experience a positive connection with someone, and that has helped me develop positive relationships in the rest of my life. I always knew that education was important. It was drilled into my head as a child: go to school, educate yourself, and get a good job. My mother didn't want me to struggle like she did. So after dropping out of school at age 15, I was now ready to get myself back into high school. The Phoenix Learning and Employment Center helped set me up with information about adult high school and correspondence courses. Because I had skipped a couple of years of school, I was behind and I really needed to buckle down, and I ended up taking 2 extra correspondence courses at a time, as well as going to school full-time, because I was determined to graduate at the same age that I would have been had I not dropped out. And I would tell you something about my determination: it is fierce. So after a couple months of absolutely killing it, I talked with the staff at the house because I was ready to move towards independence. I explained that I wanted to live in their supported apartment program, and now what is now called the Phoenix Homes for Independence. We started the process to get me moved in there. I did a lot of reflection on my life, where I was going, and what I hope to accomplish in the future. I really looked inside and learned more about myself. I also learned about things like financial responsibility, and I'm sure that my credit cards are exhausted and wish I learned more about financial responsibility and less about Michael Kors handbags. So I graduated from high school. I was valedictorian at our ceremony, and then I was accepted into my, thank you. Thank you. And then I was accepted into my college of choice. It was now time for me to branch away from Phoenix programs and start living life on my own, and I was okay with that because they prepared me well. I made it through the Child and Youth Care program, and I've been employed with the same employer for the last 10 years. Thank you. I've grown in this organization, and I'm now a program supervisor. I sit on community boards of directors. I have a very healthy volunteer life. I'm about to be married to the most amazing man that I've ever met in my life. I have a very close group of amazing and supportive friends, and my life could not be better. I have always accredited Phoenix for saving my life. And the staff always used to say, no, we didn't do that. That was you, you did that. And I'll just leave you with this. Yes, I did want to do that for myself. Yes, if I didn't want to do it, any attempts that they made would have been futile. But every single Phoenix staff stood behind me. They encouraged me, and they supported me. And I would not be here without them. I also know that without you guys, the people in the community who support them to do their work, they wouldn't have been able to be there for me. So thank you all for being here, and please enjoy the rest of the evening.